Willie D Live.
When you first started, like you wasn't like scared to do drugs. Like when you first started,
No, hell no.
You just want to see. Did you do it just because you wanted to high? You wanted to prove to yourself that you could do it.
Well, I had already been smoking weed because I was fucking selling weed, like 5th, 6th grade. But the hard drugs came from my boy Get High Chris that lived across the street from me.
Mm-hmm.
We was in my Suburban one day. And he was hitting it. He was like, "Paul, you want to hit this?" And I was like, "Fuck it. I watch Scarface movie every day. Let's do it." That movie right there is what did it.
Yeah.
I think that's what did it to a lot of people. They're like, fuck, Scarface was doing it. He rich. He got hot chicks. Fuck it. It can't be too bad. And shit. That shit was bad as hell. I tell everybody, do not ever touch that shit.
I was looking for my mom one day in a cafe in 5th Ward. And I couldn't find her where she normally spotted. Normally, you know, if your mom in the hood, she going to be at 1 or 2 places,
Same
maximum
spots
3.
all the time.
You know where to go. I couldn't find her. So I go in the restroom, and I see this dude is sitting on a toilet with his hands strapped, his arms strapped, and he's shooting up. And he was just like looking really, really pitiful. And I'm a prideful man in the sense that I don't want to be embarrassed. And that just looked really pitiful to me. Like, it looked embarrassing. That's why, like, I can't be a beggar. Like, I know that I can't be a beggar. I know that I'm just not fit to be that type of dude because I got too much pride. And I knew, not just from that situation, but I also saw other situations where people would do drugs, and I'm talking about men end up pimping their bodies. You know what I'm saying? Like letting men run up in them for drugs. And man, I was like, man, them damn drugs got a mind of their own. Like once you mess with them drugs, you ain't in control. You're no longer in control. So I never wanted to like experience that. I never wanted something or a substance to be able to control my mind.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't do drugs. I'll say, yeah, I was scared of that shit. Like I didn't want to put myself in a position to whereas, you know, I mess around and do something I can't recognize myself, you know?
Yeah, well, cocaine wasn't really like that. You know, that dude that you saw, he was shooting up. That's when you on a whole
No,
nother
he was
level.
on heroin.
Yeah, that's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Cocaine back in the day was like considered a rich man's drug. You know, it was like the drug that you got some girls over and you snort all line off her titties, some shit like that, and you just fucking getting high and having fun. And the next day you might wake up and be like, I don't ever want to see cocaine a day in my life. Cocaine wasn't like marijuana or something where you wanted to just wake and bake and do it every day and this and that. You have a good party night with cocaine, you can be off that shit for a year if it don't come around you no more. Or it could just be a week, or it could just be, you know, a few days, depending on what kind of person you is. I know some motherfuckers that did it every day. I don't know how they did that. But back in those days when I did it, I didn't do it like every day. I didn't do it every day except that one time I told you I had that little 4-day run on it when I first got my own house and all that shit, and me and Coop was living together. We was wild and writing the albums. But other than that, man, it was sometime I would have a good night with it, and then I probably wouldn't do it for months. And then it started going into years. And then I just got away from it all the way around. But it was more like a party drug, you know.
So it's kind of like when people that do it, they doing it because it's just what people are doing. Like you go to a bar, you drink.
Yeah. So you go to a mansion in Hollywood and there's hot girls all over the place. And, you know, some motherfuckers in the bathroom got some blow. And they be like, hey, you want to hit the blow? And you be like, yeah, fuck it. This and that. You're just in there with some hot girls and you're just in the bathroom or whatever, or in a little bedroom to the side. And girls in there just doing it. And they hand it to you, you do it. And take a drink and fucking, you know what I'm saying? Whatever happens after that. But then, you know, after a while, you know, you start feeling, if you get a hold of some bad shit, and that's way before fentanyl, you get a hold of some shit that's cut too much or this and that, and you wake up the next day and your nose all stopped up and you blowing your nose trying to get the shit up out of you and your head hurt. And then that's what ran me away from it. I was like, man, I ain't got time to be waking up feeling like no piece of shit, man. I was like, I with a headache and stopped up nose, and like I hate that shit. Like that's the worst thing in the world to me. So that's what ran me away from it. And thank God it did before it got into the serious shit.
Yeah.
Because I'd probably be just like Boo if I didn't stop, long ago.
If you stopped doing music, entertainment, period. If you removed yourself totally from entertainment, somebody like you who has to stay busy, who's constantly coming up with new ideas and, have to entertain yourself, like what type of business venture would you go into?
It'll be what I do now. It'll be the real estate.
Okay.
I do that more. I do that on a daily basis. I actually do that more than I do music. Now, with music, I do paperwork and, shit like that every day. You know what I'm saying? But I don't physically do music every day. I might make a song twice a month, you know what I'm saying? Or 3 or 4 times a month, if that. You know what I'm saying? I don't make songs that much. I make beats a lot. I like to make beats. But even still with a beat, I might go a whole month without making a beat, and then I might go in there in 1 week or 1 day, turn around 3, 4 beats or whatever. But real estate, that shit is a full-time job every day. I'm sitting right now in my room, I was ordering tubs for a fucking property of mine, and and going through tiles, going to different spots looking for a new tile. I've been looking for this blue hexagon tile that I can't find no fucking where, the right one rather. And
the small one or the large? Big,
I'm looking for the 4-inch hexagon.
Okay.
4 or 5 inch. I think it's a 4-inch. And I'm talking to different guys. I'm trying to find the best guy to do my fireplaces, or the best guy to do this and this. Because I own 18 properties. I'm always buying a lot of properties, and I fix them up and I rent them out. Everybody that know me know that. And my fans, they've seen me talk about this a million times on other podcasts and all that. Because I grew up watching my dad do that. Okay, that's what I didn't mention. So outside of my dad having a pest control company, he also bought and rented out properties. But the difference between me and him is I have people that property manage it for me. But I'm still on my bigger high-end properties, like my $1 million properties, not the smaller ones. But my $1 million properties, I'm hands-on with the decoration and all of that. With the smaller rental properties, I don't, I'm not. I got a guy that's really good for that. But my dad, he did all that himself. So I'd be a little kid on the ground playing with my little Tonka toys and shit, and my dad in there fucking under the sink doing plumbing and doing us and laying carpet or whatever the fuck. He was doing a lot of that shit himself because he didn't have a property manager. He was dealing with motherfuckers that was late for their rent and didn't want paying all that himself. So that rubbed off on me as well. So that's 100% what I would be doing. That's what I would end up doing. When I said fuck music, I would still end up doing properties. That's how I saw John Amos on HGTV, because I'm always watching it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things that I've been doing for a long time is investing in real estate. But when it comes to that, the thing that irks me the most about it, and I would do it a lot more often if it wasn't for bad contractors. What's your level of, what's your experience with dealing with contractors?
Well, I'm going to tell you what I do with the contractors, because I've had that situation too. But my brother, shout out to my play brother Steve in Hollywood. We came up with a plan, because we bought some desert houses and shit that we Airbnb. And we came up with a plan. Oh, shout out to my realtor too. We came up with a plan. My realtor gave me this plan. And that's become your own contractor. If you become your own contractor, he told me this. He was like, he said, Paul, if you got some extra time, if you got time to go to one of your new properties at least 3-4 times a week, be your own contractor, I guarantee you'll save $30,000 to $40,000. And I said, man, I'm down to do that. So what I did was, instead of hiring a contractor, they go out and hire all these different guys and tack on his shit. I just became that contractor, and I just hired all these people myself. It takes longer to do.
Yeah.
It takes longer to do, but you know you're gonna get exactly what you want. You can make your own deals. You can use friends here, friends there. I don't recommend that, but here and there you might have one that's cool. I got a brother that paint. I might fly my brother and let him paint a room or two and stay at the house while he doing it, because I trust him to do that. My whole family do that for him. So that's the advice I would give. If you got a little extra time, then just do it. Be your own contractor. Because with the internet these days, you can do that. It ain't like back in the day, or you scrolling through Yellow Pages.
Most of the time when you're doing that anyway, you pretty much acting as a subcontractor anyway, because you're standing over these people, making sure they do the work the right way.
Yeah.
So if you know what work needs to be done and you have some basic knowledge of how that work needs to be done, then you can actually be your own contractor. But you got to be careful when it comes to things like plumbing and electricity. You got to know what to look for, like certain things that needs to be done. For example, like hardy board. You got to know that you need to have hardy board on a particular surface if you're going to have water, or you're going to have, in my case, fire. I redid my fireplace. And, if you don't know that hardy board needs to be laid on top of that surface before you put the final stone on it, because the hardy board keeps the fireplace warm. It keeps the tile warm, right? So if you don't know that, you don't know what to look for, and you hire the wrong person, and they don't do that, you could have some major issues. So as long as you have basic knowledge of what needs to be done, and you got the time, for me, it saved me a lot of money, but more than the money, the headache. Because like you said, you know exactly what's going on. If there's a delay, you ain't got to take somebody else's word. You're paying everybody on time. You don't have to come out as much money up front per contractor, because instead of paying one guy, half or a third, you're paying, 4 or 5 guys what their price is. Yeah. What each one of their price is. Yeah. And you're coming out with less money up front. Yeah. And you get to keep your money and control the purse strings better. So I'm with you 100% on that, man. These contractors, man. Hey, man.
And like I said, and like I heard you talk about earlier, I went and I pick out my own tiles, and I pay for my own tiles. And I have my tile guy go pick them up. I got a tile guy to do the tiles. I got a wood guy to do the wood floors. I got a painter to do this, and that. Like I learned a long time ago is don't try to have one person doing too many jobs. Right. Let them do just the job they specialize in. Even though this tile guy might be like, oh, yeah, I do hardwood floors too. Like, no, which one do you specialize in? That's the one that I want you to do. I don't want you to bring in one of your buddies and add some more money on to me because you really don't do tiles. Because 9 times out of 10, the tile guy and a hardwood floor guy, that's totally 2 different worlds. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I just rather have a guy to just do that, I go pick out my own wood. I go pick out my own tiles. I pay that company, have the contractor go pick it up, and take it to the property. That way ain't nothing got tacked on nowhere down in the middle.
Yeah, I'm with that 100%. I'm with that 100%. Now, before we go, man, I know what the candles mean to me, but this is your thing. You like to bring the candles out.
I love candles.
Yeah.
I love candles for 2 reasons. I love the vision of the fire, and I love the smell of candles. I got candles all over my whole house. Like I just love the smell of candles. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I light them. But my manager just sent me this thing. They just made this machine that mimics the smell of different hotels. So like, you like the smell of the Four Seasons or this and that. I got that machine. Yeah. I wake up, I put that motherfucker on number 2. It'll go all the way up to like number 10. Put it on number 2. in the living room, and it'll just travel through the, you know, that level of the floor, or whatever. But I still like the candles though. I still like the candles.
Yeah, well, optically, it's hard to not like candles. You know, you see the fly, the burn. It sets a nice little mood, you know, the ambiance. That's dope.
Yeah.
Man. DJ Paul is in the building, man.
We got to do a part 2, Willie.
Start back. Yeah,
I ain't get a chance to interview you. You remember I told you I was going to interview you, man.
I'm with that, though.
I wanted to see what was Willie D doing when he wrote Bald Head Hoes, man. What made all that happen, man? Yeah. Motherfucker, wearing dresses and shit.
Hey, we should get into that, though. We should get into that next time, though.
Yeah.
I got some.
I got to talk about how I used to play like I was the Yellow Boys and steal y'all raps. When I was just a kid, I wasn't even a rapper. I was in the 8th grade. And I'd be like, I rap. And they'd be like, you do? And I'd be like, yeah, I can rap. I started small town, dope gang, cocaine, put your right. They'd be like, man, this dude is good. Because my brother was in the gang. My brother was in the dope gang. He went to the feds. And when he would be traveling, you know, going and doing his thing. Shout out to my brother Phil D. We got to take a picture. Mm-hmm. I got to send it to him. He gonna trip. He love you, boy. And you know, he was a dope boy back in the 80s. And he brought that to me. He's like, check these dudes out. Grip it on the other level. Like, check these dudes out right here, the Ghetto Boys. And Willie D, he gave me a solo album. And I was listening to that shit. I was like, man, these niggas is hard, man. I had Choice. That was her name, right? Choice?
Yeah.
Choice. I had all that shit, man. And then I just started getting into Houston music. It went from y'all into the Terrorists and Gangsta Nip. And now I know all those guys, you know, Point Blank, all those dudes. Yeah, man, I love Houston music, man. So
yeah, every time you come down, man, you have heavy fanfare, man. People like DJ Paul, people like 3-6 Mafia, man. And I appreciate you for stopping by.
Man, anytime, man, anytime. It's my pleasure, man.
My man, ladies and gentlemen, DJ Paul.
Yup.
No more talk.